Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a while. A lot of crazy stuff going on out in the world today. So I hope everyone's safe. Hope you're taking care of each other, trying to love each other. We really desperately need that right now. But on a lighter note, let's talk about the Falclone. Been a while, and yeah, let's jump into it. The first thing I'm going to show you is I made a laundry list on this thing not too long ago when I was just trying to brainstorm on what all I had to get accomplished to maybe not to finish it, but to get close. And so what I've done is I've made notes on the fender here. Someone asked about this in a previous video. They saw all these markings. They're like, what is that? Is that your to-do list? And that's exactly what it is. So I'm not going to go over all of it, but there's a lot here. And what I've done is kind of calculated up some of the hours it's going to take to kind of finish up some of these things. And what I've determined is everything that I've got on here is actually about half of the amount of time it's going to take to do it. So I think there's probably 400 hours still of fabrication and work on this car before I even get to the finish work, the paint and body stuff, to really get into that, to kind of do the finishing. But there's so much to do. And I've got to keep working on the rear section of the car, do the bumper mounts and correct those. I've got to put the gas tank in, which I do have, and I'll show you guys that later. I still want to put a hitch on the back, so I could potentially do like a Rocky Mountain Race Week or something like that with it at some point. Finish the roll bars, do the body and suspension pieces. I got a couple things I got to finish doing there, trimming a little bit more, and a lot of work on the floors. And that's what I'm going to show you next. Also steering, got some things to show you with the steering as well. And then of course the engine, exhaust, final assembly, wiring, the list goes on and on. But I want to show you kind of where we're at on the inside of this thing, and I know it's going to be dark, so I'm going to have to get my light, so that fault. All right, we're back, and I know that this light, for some reason, the frequency of the LED is kind of interfering with the video, so apologize for the ripple effect in the lighting here, but you can see, at least hopefully you can see, we're making some progress in the floors. I've got some of the upper floor area done, and you have to excuse my drawings there. There's rough indications where I like to put in some bead rolls. Got the main section where you're gonna, the main bracing area. Here we go. That's a lot better. So again, you can kind of see what we did up here. There's a little bit of a step down right there to this front area to give me a little bit more room, because the flooring has come up so much that I'm just trying to give it, even if half an inch there and an inch is still giving me a little more foot room. The tunnel coming along really nicely, and then we come out to the back here. So I've actually started getting into the back paneling, and yeah, I'm gonna do some bead rolling on that too, so I have some rough marks and kind of what I'm thinking. And still need to make the panels to go here next to the roll cage, and I still got to do the front area up here where the firewall is going to be. So that is going to be once I get the car body off and I can access those panels in that area a little bit better with the engine out and all that stuff. So for now, we're going to focus on this back area, try to get the panels done on it, and yeah, kind of finalize some of these things. I haven't welded anything, and everything's just kind of fit and clean coat in, just to give me some representation marks and that sort of thing. So I got a lot of finishing to do and fitment, as you can see right here, like those little gaps and stuff that I'll have to metalwork that and finish it. But when I'm welding it in, you'll never see that stuff. I'm also trying to decide if I want to put in sheet metal rivets, kind of give it that, or excuse me, aircraft rivets, to kind of give it that, unique aircraft rivet look, or if I want to keep it nice and clean. Don't know yet. I am kind of going back and forth on that, so I thought I might try a few things with the rivets and maybe get your feedback. But all in all, we're getting, mind the mess here, but we're getting pretty close. So I got another panel I've got to do up at this front area, And then I'm really ready to work those firewall areas back there. I've got the rear panel that's going to be to kind of separate the cab and the trunk area to do, and then these two areas on the side to do as well. So that's kind of where we're at. Kind of where we're at right now. Now I want to show you something I've been working on, and I figured I would take you guys through the process of building this because you wanted to see some of the fab work, right? So I don't often get the chance to show you everything that I do in the fab world with this thing because I'm just grinding on it, trying to get some things done, and it takes a lot of time to work it and to do the camera work. So, but I felt like this is a good little project. So what this is a kick plate for the bottom. So it's basically a footrest for the passenger. And I'm going to put some dimple dies in it. That'll be basically inverted dimple dies so you have some traction on it. But a place where a passenger can rest their feet and also brace a little bit. I mean, this car is going to be pretty violent, so you don't want your passenger kind of floating and flying around in there. So this gives them a place to kind of rest their feet, but also kind of brace up in there if they need to. It looks cool. That's really the biggest thing. That's the thing I like about it. It's going to look cool. Never built one before. Seen it in a couple cars, so we're going to give it a shot. And you guys are going to come along with me on that. So here we go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've made my pattern for this thing. And basically what it's going to look like, if I can do this with one hand, it's going to look like basically this inside of that passenger side compartment, right? It's going to kind of be angled up like that. I'm not sure what the degree that I'm going to put it at is yet, but I'm kind of thinking something about like that. And of course, it'll have the dimple dies in there, and it'll just kind of sit on that the passenger side floorboard at the kind of the upper end of it as a footrest. So you kind of see that. This is the pattern I've done out of Ramboard. We've talked about Ramboard a little bit, but this stuff is awesome. You can get it at Home Depot, and it's just a kind of a thick cardboard material that you use for flooring. Like really, it's kind of an underlayment for flooring, but it works really great for making patterns. It's stiff, so you can get you can cut it out and it'll hold its shape fairly well. You can also use the tape it up to get the pattern you need and fill gaps with it with a little extra tape if you overcut or undercut, you know, so on. So you've seen that. We're going to lay this out, draw this out on this piece of, this is 20 gauge sheet metal. And then we got a bunch of fancy holes to put in it, and yeah, a little bit of sheet metal bending to go on with it. And yeah. Oh, I need more upbeat music than this. So I put the top bend in it just to get over to the metal brake. I don't have a very expensive or crazy metal brake. I'll show you what I have. I just have the little Harbor Freight deal. I think it's a 30-inch or 32-inch. This is what I have. So I just stuck it in there, put that top bend in there, and we got the overall shape that we're looking for. So here it is. I think that looks pretty good. It's got plenty of room for a passenger to put their feet on it. You've got these dimple dyed, reverse dimple dies to give you some traction there. All right. So here's what a piece looks like when it's in. Not really in, but it's kind of sitting in the passenger side compartment over here. That's about where it's going to live. I know I have to figure out exactly where it's going to go. Again, my lighting sucks in here, so I apologize. And also the lights I do have in here are LEDs that create a lot of flickering. So anyway, I think that piece turned out really good. And it's exactly what I was expecting and what I was wanting in there. It's going to serve the purpose. And then I did a little bead rolling on these back panels back here, tried it out, and I'm pretty new at that, so don't beat me up too bad on it. It's not perfect. There's some little jagged edges and not very smooth transitions on there that I'm not super happy with, but I don't feel like I'm gonna redo the panel. There's a lot of work in that panel, so I think it'll serve the purpose. And the whole point of this thing was to try some new things, learn how to do some sheet metal work, and get better at it. So I'll leave that up to just experience to get better and continue to learn. So, but all in all, the interior, the floor pans of this thing are looking pretty good. We've made some major progress in that arena. I did pull out the old steering column, and I did purchase one from Motion Raceworks, and I'm just gonna have it sitting in here. It has got the removable steering wheel piece to it, a real trick blinker up there if you can see it, all billet aluminum, and that steering shaft is a lot more lightweight than the factory. It saves like 25 pounds or something crazy. I've also cleaned up the dash a whole lot. I've taken all of the padding off and kind of pulled all of the electrical components out of there, switches and so on. All right, guys. Pretty short episode. I just want to give you a brief update on what the car is looking like. I haven't worked on it as much as I'd like to, and the stuff I'm working on is pretty slow and pretty boring stuff. It's just a lot of nitpicky bends and cuts and trying to get the flooring to sit in there correctly. And I don't know that you guys want to see that stuff. I'm trying to give you as much as I can of it without being completely boring. So some of the bigger things are coming up soon. I'm going to take the body off this chassis and start cleaning it up. I think we're at a point where I can do that. I got enough racing in it to do it, and feel good about where things are at, so I can kind of start working that. And I really want to start coming up with the finishing so it starts to look nice. So that does it for another episode. Stay safe, be good to each other, and join me next time on Southeast Speed Shop. Please, if you haven't done it yet, like, subscribe, hit the bell at the bottom here, and see you next time. Peace.